Hello, my name's Adam Richmond. I'm an osteopath here at the Lacemike Clinic in Nottingham. This is just a short video to tell you a little bit about me and how I work. So the first question a lot of people ask is, what is an osteopath? An osteopath is somebody that helps people with musculoskeletal, neuromusculoskeletal aches and pains, pain in the body essentially. There's a lot of variation in how osteopaths work. Osteopathy is a principle-based profession. That means there's no strong prescription of an osteopath does this, this and this. So he's going to try and help you achieve something. He or she is going to help you try and achieve a goal, but how you get there with the osteopath can vary. I personally take quite a strong evidence-informed approach. It means I like to use the evidence that's out there, but also accept that in many cases, in fact most cases, there's not an evidence base that tells you how to treat a specific individual, how you treat a person with their individual presentation. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about me and how I got into osteopathy. There's two stories that I tell people. The first story is that I used to play a lot of rugby and got a few back injuries playing rugby. Then I'm a career change person, I suppose that's important. I changed career about 10 years ago. My first career was office based, so I used to sit there in my office with my back pain that I attributed to my rugby playing days, and then went for treatment and thought that the guy that was treating me, his job seemed a lot more interesting than my job, so I made the decision to change career. Now that's a small sort of cliched story. The other story that I tell people, which I think is probably more relevant, is the fact that my mother was confined to a wheelchair with a spinal injury when I was 7 or 8 years old, and so consequently I spent a lot of time from that age on physiotherapy wards and sort of watching various treatments that she's had. This is an ongoing thing. She's been in the wheelchair for over 34 years now, and I've always been interested in how I've learnt a lot from watching her, particularly about the importance. When the story first started over 34 years ago, it was very much about the body. This is a spinal injury. How does one treat a spinal injury? And actually what I've come to realise is it's about the person, and actually the emotional trauma of being in a wheelchair is in the long term much more significant than the actual physical trauma. Okay, so, and that's something that I apply in the way I work, is getting the balance between what the brain thinks, understands about what's going on, and what is actually going on in the body, and bringing those two together is something that I enjoy doing in my work. So a little bit about sort of the background and how I think, the lessons I've learnt. I've got an interesting mission, which is to try and put myself out of business. I base this idea on the fact that I don't like to give people advice that I wouldn't follow myself, okay? Unless they want to do something that I wouldn't want to do. I don't want to run a marathon, so probably going to give people running advice that I'd never follow. That's different. I suppose what I mean is a lot of people go on to see therapists and get given generic sort of core stability or hamstring stretching exercise and things like that, and it's a life sentence of thou shalt stretch your hamstrings 5 times a week for the rest of your life, and that's just not right. I don't do any regular boring sort of stretching or stability exercises like that, and so I don't expect any of my clients to. The other thing is, actually, I don't go for treatment anywhere. Now, this isn't because I haven't got pain, and in fact in my sort of late teens and early 20s I had a lot of back pain. The thing I've got is I've got the knowledge, I've got the my osteopathic education. I've got 15,000 hours of patient sort of consulting hours, so I've got the experience. I know how to deal with things myself, and I want to give my clients that information. I think if a client has got the knowledge and the tools they need to deal with what's going on, then they're in a much more powerful position ongoing than just needing to do some hamstring stretches or some other generic exercise, which essentially is more of a sticking plaster over the top of the root cause of the problem. And I suppose that's the thing, is I think it's essential to try and get to the root cause of a problem with a client, and very much this involves being open to acknowledging any sort of learnt behaviour, beliefs that might be predisposing somebody to a pain, as well as looking at the physical side of things. Now, I'm not opposed to doing a bit of physical therapy. I think sometimes physical therapy is very useful to help reduce somebody's symptoms and help give them the belief that they can get in control of their symptoms. But after that, I'm very much a big proponent of strengthening, building one's strength and looking at the way you move, motor patterns, movement beliefs are very important. So looking at strengthening the way we move and building through that a resilience and a tolerance to the activities of daily living. I think that's it. The key to my work is helping clients build resilience to life, to the activities of daily living. Okay, and I think if you move well and are strong, then you have good neuromusculoskeletal resilience. Okay, so hopefully that gives you some insight into why I do this work, and a bit of an insight into my style of work as well. I think I'm very lucky to be in a job where I really can help people. And I think that's reflected in the fact that I spend a lot of time with clients. I'm not I can't understand how people work with sort of 10-minute person in, person out type schedules. I think that spending time with people and really investigating the way they move, how strong they are, investigating their beliefs is the key to treatment. It's really fascinating when you can really delve into that stuff with clients. So I'm lucky to have a job that's sort of engaging and interesting in that way. So please don't hesitate to get in touch if you've got any questions. My name's Adam Richmond. I'm an osteopath at the Lace Market Clinic in Nottingham, where I don't just work behind your back. Thanks a lot.